I think it's the early 2000s. And my friend Lois and I were looking for tickets to the Oprah Winfrey show. And at that point, I was teaching a program called Get Out of Your Own Way. And I thought, gosh, if I know how to get out of my own way, I can clearly get some tickets to Oprah. I know other people that have gotten tickets to Oprah. And alas, we phoned all the time and we were not getting tickets. However, I think it was really by design to show me something. Let me share. So this is the story of meeting Steve Carell, Oprah Winfrey, a producer of Oprah. I mean, this is an amazing story, and it speaks to a little piece of what it takes in order to live in flow, to have everything come to you, to become a living magnet for what you desire. And at that point, I didn't get what was in my way. I'm like, I'm excited. Like, what's wrong? Intention. I should be intentional. And it was as though my greater wisdom was saying, you don't really get it. There's so much more to it than what you see. And I thought, okay. So Lois and I just let it go. And a few days later, weeks later, another friend called me, Yvette, and she said, listen, Jennifer, I just got tickets to Oprah. And I went, what? And then she said, and I'm taking Linda. And I went, why'd you call me? She said, well, maybe it's because you're getting closer. And I thought, oh my God, please. So I hung up the phone and I was disappointed. And not very long later, she called me back and she said, Linda can't come. Jennifer, do you want to come to Oprah? And I went, are you kidding? She said, it's on February the 14th. And I thought, Valentine's Day, I'm gonna have to talk to my husband, but let me check a minute. Yes, I think I can make it. And I thought, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And February 14th wasn't very long from when the show was actually happening. So we had to kind of hop on it. There was only 2 weeks or maybe 2.5 weeks until then. And so what happened was my friend Sonia Riccati then for the first time was calling me up saying, I want to know what you're doing to run your business and how you're doing so well and all that kind of stuff. And we went out to lunch. We had this great chat and I told her about the stuff that we were doing in the world. And she said, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I got someone to introduce you to. And I said, who? And she said, well, it's the producer from Oprah named John. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, it's a producer from Oprah. I just met with them. And I thought, gosh, I'm going to Oprah. And she said, no way. Well, we'll have to do this soon so you can hook up with him while you're there. And I went, what's going on here? I wasn't even thinking about meeting a producer from Oprah. But when I thought about it, it kind of was a next logical step from being on TV regularly and having my own radio show. I just didn't think so at the time. I thought that was way too big time for me. So then what happened was Yvette and I had the most amazing time. We had Steve Carell and Carol Burnett and Jim Carrey were all on Oprah for the show that we saw, because one of my favorite things is watching Pixar movies or cartoon movies. I love them because they're kind of like for adults, but for kids. And so what happened was Horton Hears a Who has all of those people, and Carol Burnett is one of my heroes, and I love Jim Carrey. And Steve Carell, I didn't know that I would love him until later, but until, what is it? Something-Year-Old Virgin. My God, that movie was hilarious. So anyways, here I am. I have an appointment with the producer right after the taping of Oprah. So first we get to go and we had the most amazing time in Chicago. Never mind, all sorts of miraculous things happening, like going up towers and upgrading our room and just crazy stuff. And then we go to Oprah, and it's all those guys, and we get a private screening of Horton Hears a Who. Unbelievable. So cool. And by the way, great movie for these times. I would watch it. And so then what happens is the show finishes, and I thought, oh my God, Oprah's got great shoes. And I leave there and I go to meet this John guy, and I sit down with him, and he asks me this question that's like only an intuitive could get the answer, right? And he's testing me. And I thought, what are you testing me for? So he goes, I'm going to leave the room. I want you to give me the answer to the question right up there. And I told him the answer to the question, and it had to do with serendipity and all sorts of things. And he went, wow, you're really good. And I went, wow, this is amazing. So then we had a great meeting, and I went to the Oprah store because I swore I always wanted to go to the Oprah store, but everyone had left by then because I had a meeting first. So I went to the Oprah store, which has all sorts of things supporting her school in Africa, and things that she's selling that she doesn't wear anymore, or shoes that she only wore once, or whatever. Now, at the time, she's a size 12. I was a size 12. At the time, her feet were 9.5. My feet were 9.5. So I went into the store, and all of the service staff in the store were waiting on me. And they were asking me what I do and where am I from and all that kind of stuff. And the colors in her store were this lime spring green, which are the exact same colors as my company. And I start putting on her clothes. So I'm wearing this fabulous, wicked, badass wool skirt that's gorgeous. And I'm wearing these boots. Can I tell you about these boots? Holy cow. I still have them. And I bought a pair of patent leather shoes as well from her. And I'm wearing her clothes, and they're asking me what I do. And they're all sitting in a circle around the place where all her clothes are. And I start telling them what I do. They start asking questions, and I start seeing all their holograms and basically giving readings and teaching what we teach in building bridges. And at the end, they gave me a standing ovation. So I'm wearing Oprah's clothes, in Oprah's shoes, doing a workshop to her staff. It was amazing. And I left there just thinking, what just happened? I cannot wait to tell Yvette this. And it kind of falls into the category of, how is this even possible? Like, how does stuff like this happen? And I had to retroactively deconstruct it to go, oh, I see what was going on. And that, along with several other events in my life that I would normally have seen as miraculous, I wanted to make those events normals. And I deconstructed those kinds of events and understood the laws of physics and basically the mathematics and the fractal aspects of it. And then I started to understand biophotons and how human beings and intuition and serendipity worked on a scientific level. And this was such a major catalyst for this, because I thought, what if that were the way that it worked all the time? And so to this day, I'm still, whenever I tell this story, I just shake my head and go, oh, it's just the coolest how much we're given to. Just most people don't access it because they're not operating from a thriving operating system. We haven't been taught that. We're sort of in the clouds or in the fog, in the survival way of living, when, oh my gosh, thriving is available to everyone, but it takes, I have found, taking people through experiential exercises to be able to actually get your body in a state to capacitate living that way. So that's why I'm always excited to tell the story, because it really exemplifies what's possible, even for people who think, oh, that's not me, or that's just Jennifer, she's pie in the sky. Are you kidding me? I wasn't getting Oprah tickets for nothing. And I was teaching a course called Get Out of Your Own Way. So it didn't matter what I did. And because I teach this stuff, it's almost like consciousness was lining this up for me to see another way, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. So I'm really excited to be someone who gets to be the conduit for the dream of people being able to live that way as their default way. Anyways, that's it for now. Fun, right? Fun, ticklish. I love it. I love sharing it. So, and I love to hear your comments below or any questions you have, or, yeah, it's just, yeah, making that normal. That's what I'm talking about. Having just being able to tell a few stories a month or a few stories a year that, or one story a year that's that miraculous. That's nice. But thriving and living in overflow as your default, my goodness. So yeah, but that was near the beginning of when we first started teaching this.